Sickle cell disease is an inherited blood disorder, but characterized by a number of types of sickle cell conditions. So when we talk about sickle cell disease, we are talking about an umbrella of a number of conditions related to this blood disorder.
My name is Agri Ogweno. I like playing football with my friends. I am a normal child with sickle cell anemia.
Sickle cell anemia, as the name says, is a chronic inherited blood disorder characterized by a quicker breakdown of red blood cells than normal. Basically, that's what it is. And we must also emphasize that it is inherited and is chronic. Person who gets sickle cell anemia is any person whose two parents have inherited a sickle cell gene from their parents. So if you have one parent with what we call a sickle cell gene in their body that we don't know if they have not been tested, and another one who also with a similar gene called an S gene, and these two had a child, there's a 25% chance that one of their children would actually have sickle cell anemia.
My name is Roslyn Lutieno. I'm a teacher in Nairobi Pentecostal Church, Buruburu. I do teach class 1. I have a boy in my class called Agre. I love him so much because he's just a normal child like others. What I can tell other teachers outside, the ones with children like Agre, what they could do, the important things, they should have the number, the contact of the parents. That one is very important. And the contact of the family doctor.
Sickle cell anemia was a childhood condition. We didn't see it in adults, but gradually the adults have grown because now we manage them better.
Generally, I live a normal life. Despite having sickle cell anemia, I just live like a normal person. I associate well with my parents, my family, friends. They treat me like any other person.
Now, how would one know that your child has sickle cell anemia? When the babies are still smaller than than 1 year, the common thing that we see, especially in this country, the children will come in with swollen hands and feet. And this is what we refer to as the hand and foot syndrome. If you looked at your baby and looks restless, crying, and you think looks paler than what the child normally is in the other days, again, it's good to run, especially when you suspect that you have a background of sickle cell anemia. As the baby goes on, they may come in with joint swellings, either joints around the shoulder, joints around the knees, swollen, or around the ankle. If you see swelling of the joints and you can't explain, could be 1 or 2, again, a possibility of sickle cell anemia must be entertained. If your child wakes up one day and possibly is less than a year and looks sick, and when you look at the eyes, they look yellow, which we call jaundice, and you can't explain it, not yellowness of the hands and feet, which is common in children who are having a lot of carrots and pumpkins, malenge. That is not what we are talking about. Eyes looking yellow, that kind of baby, please go and say, could my child have sickle cell anemia? What are the tips of survival, if one would call it, or good living? Let's start by saying that you need to know your condition very well. That's one of the tips. And to accept your condition, that I have sickle cell anemia and I'm going to live with it. Even the parents, when they have a child with sickle cell anemia, accept the condition and try and get as much information. The more informed you are, the better. The other thing that you need to do for children with sickle cell anemia is to make sure that they know as they get bigger that this you can do, this you can't do. Excessive playing when it's very hot, playing in the rain, all these things will trigger a painful episode in the end of the day. The other thing that they need to do is make sure that they take their medication and to continue to motivate them to take the medication. Nobody wants to take the medication regularly, every day of your life, but we must continue to talk to them, counsel them, and continue to explain them why it's important. And the last thing that they also need to know, they need to network. They need to know how the others are managing sickle cell anemia, because they are adults, they manage it differently, so they need to talk with one another, peer groups, talking about the condition, strategizing how to look after themselves.
The support I've gotten from the Children's Sickle Cell Foundation was able to share with people the experiences about sickle cell, and I've been able to manage myself more better. The Children's Sickle Cell Foundation, it's not only a support group, We are like a family. We visit one another when they're sick, socialize by holding functions, and we come together.
We have the Children's Sickle Cell Foundation, formed in 2001, and it was formed mainly by parents and friends of children with sickle cell anemia. And what was the purpose? Just to offer a shoulder of help, a shoulder that you can cry on, someone that you can share the same things that you know that affect you both. Whereas the name is Children's Sickle Cell Foundation, it has members. And then we also have friends, and we have professionals. There are doctors in there, there are lawyers in there, and what are they doing? Just sharing, saying you don't have to be with it alone. To the government, we want to say asante sana, thank you. You've done a lot of things for us. But one of the things that we'd like to commend the government for is the recent introduction of a pneumococcal vaccine that is now being given to infants less than 1 year, free of charge. So what we are requesting is that we have sickle cell clinics. This thing called sickle cell anemia that we need to focus either internationally, globally, and also nationally. And that's where we are saying that everybody who is listening to this program today should come out on the 19th. Even if you don't see anything in your neighborhood, but just remember that on that particular day, people with sickle cell anemia and their families and their friends and the doctors and the nurses involved in looking after these patients will be spending special time with, possibly giving themselves just the opportunity to rethink, where were we 20 years ago, where are we now, and where do we want to go when it comes to sickle cell disease as an entity.
I am a normal child with sickle cell anemia.